Welcome back to Blue Lenses. I'm your host Alicia, and today I have my guest Madison Reeder with me.
Hi everyone.
So Madison is a hair and makeup artist. I'm going to ask her about that. So I want to ask you first, what made you decide to be a cosmetologist?
If I'm going to be completely honest, my mom does hair, and she straight up told me that I was not allowed to do it ever. Neither of my sisters were. And that made me want to do it even more. So I took it. I took cosmetology in high school, and I ended up loving it.
So why weren't you allowed to do hair?
She didn't want me to have to suffer like she did, the toll that it takes on your body. And maybe she just didn't like the competition. I don't know.
She was scared of you giving her competition?
Yes.
Well, you don't work together, so...
No, not at all.
There you go. You're fine. And so you went to a Votech school,
Mm-hmm.
and can you tell our listeners, if they don't know what Votech, what it is?
Votechs are definitely an underrated type of high school. They are basically just a normal high school, but then you have your different shops, and my shop was cosmetology, and you just take your regular classes in the morning, and then in the evening you take your shop class, and basically it just licensed me all throughout high school, and I didn't have to go to a school after graduation, and it saved me a lot of money.
And a lot of people have to do high school, then they have to figure out what they want to do, then they get a job, but you had a job through high school.
Exactly.
So did that really help you manage things better?
It definitely did. It put me in my career really early, which definitely blessed me because I was able to jump right into the whole working and establishing myself really early.
And do you feel like that was better for you rather than taking it slow and figuring that out over several years?
Oh, absolutely. And I have zero student debt, and I've established my clientele really early, so I'm young and I'm relatable and everyone loves me.
Well, you do reach out to a lot of the younger clients. They always come to you and you talk to them about social media, and I think that helps you build your business if you're going to directly reach out to them. And it's a lot of work for you, but if you put that in, I see how that helps you a lot.
It definitely does, and social media is like a big part of it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, do you feel like if they're not on social media, they're really just not someone you go to?
Maybe word of mouth is a big thing, but social media, like, honestly, who doesn't have social media nowadays? You can look me up, you can see what my work's like, and trust me through that part. And then, yeah, definitely word of mouth is also a big thing.
So you do hair, and you also do makeup. What do you like most about each individual part?
I like that they're similar and different at the same time. I love when I do hair. I can express my creativity a little bit more. People kind of trust me a little bit more rather than with makeup. They show you a picture. They usually have something more set in mind. I also like that about the makeup, is that someone gives me almost like an outline, and I can kind of guide them through what would work with them, what would not work for them. I like, in general, both of them, making people feel beautiful and confident, and that makes me feel good at the end of the day.
I hear a lot of times people say, I want to go into the salon, and I want her to look at me and say, what's best for me, and what about this, and what about that? And I feel like a lot of people want you to tell them what they want. Does that happen, or do you feel like it's easier to try and get them to say what they want?
It's definitely 50-50. Majority of my clientele are younger girls that see pictures on Instagram of models and like, I want that. And it's sometimes difficult to try and guide them through what would work for them. And you definitely have to take into account skin tones, lengths and thicknesses of hair, or what their face shape looks like with makeup. So it's easy when they have pictures, when they have realistic expectations in mind of kind of, this isn't always going to be exactly me, this isn't what it's going to exactly look like. But sometimes people don't have that in mind, so it's tricky to like talk to them about it. But at the same time, when there is a picture, or when someone asks me, whatever you think, what is your professional opinion, I can kind of put my creativity out there, put my years of experience into their head, and give them knowledge basically on what would work for them.
Now, when it does come to pictures like Instagram, I know that is a problem because some people don't realize that filters are something to take into account. What do you have to say about stuff like that?
Oh, that is a tricky one. It is very, very common for young girls to come in and show me a picture of platinum silver hair that has clearly, it's clear to me because I do hair for a living, but is doctored, is filtered, and that's all social media is nothing's exactly what it is. So it can be tough trying to break it to somebody that your hair is jet black. It won't necessarily be platinum silver today. I'm blonde. I've been blonde since I was like 10, and I will never be that silver because it's not realistic. And some people do take my word for it, but others refuse to believe that pictures do get edited for looks and likes. So it can be tough trying to tell them what's actually going to happen. But for the people that do believe me and trust me, I appreciate those people so much.
Now, besides filters and stuff like that, what are some things that you wish people knew for hair and makeup before they came into you, before they had something in their mind that they would actually take into account?
I wish people would take into account that those models that you see on Instagram, those Kardashians, they spend hours every single day trying to get that look, and it's not something that can always easily be achieved in the salon in X amount of hours. It's usually like 3 for hair, and I wish people would just know that a lot of times things are a process, and even with makeup, all of those pictures have been photoshopped and doctored up to look flawless. That's what people want them to see, and people have in their mind when they're getting their makeup done, like, oh, I want to look flawless like a model, but I don't want to wear any makeup. That's not how that works. The Kardashians have pounds and pounds of makeup on to make them look that good.
Yeah.
So I wish they would just understand that and take my word for it, that it's not as it seems.
Yeah, it's always different. I don't think people really get that. But I definitely understand the whole, I don't want to wear makeup, but I want to look like I'm completely flawless. It's not real. So you talked about how your mom was mentioning the toll that being a hairdresser can have on your body. What are some other negatives and downsides to that profession?
It does take a toll on your body. But it's also at the end of the day mentally exhausting some days. And I feel like that's any industry working with people. It's just trying to please everyone, which is not always going to happen. Building tough skin for when people don't like your work or don't agree with what you did. And at the end of the day, you can't take it personally, because I know that with my years of education and experience that I definitely did the best that I could. I gave them my professional opinion. If it's something they don't like, we can work on it, we can change it, but not everyone's always going to be happy with what I do, and that does frustrate me, and I do take that home with me, and sometimes I do lose sleep over it, but you have to try not to. It's just pleasing people in general is a very hard thing.
And so you're pleasing everybody, you're talking to people for hours on end. You know, you can have an hour-long process, or you can have somebody in there for about 3 hours. How has being a hairdresser affected the way you've learned to communicate with people?
It definitely made me more of an extrovert. I was super shy coming into it, but you have to learn how to put yourself out there, know your worth. So when people do doubt you, you can't doubt yourself. You have to say to them, I'm the professional here, not to sound cocky or anything, but that's realistically what it is. And you came to me for a service. You have to take some of my opinion into account, and I always take people's their opinion into account, but as long as they trust me, which isn't always the case, then it usually goes pretty smoothly.
Is there anybody in your life or on media anywhere that has inspired you creatively?
Definitely my mom is a big part of it, since I've been in the salon with her since I was a kid. Just seeing her kind of hustle and bustle to make ends meet for me makes me inspired to want to do that for myself and for when I do have a family. And definitely with social media, seeing there's a woman named Larissa Love. She's from California. She came here, I want to say from Russia, I'm not really sure, at a young age, started with nothing, and within 4 years of her going to cosmetology school, she had opened her own salon in California. I'm pretty sure on Hollywood Boulevard, like in the biggest city ever, and is very, very successful, and she loves what she does, and I definitely see myself wanting to get to that point.
Is that a future career goal of yours then?
Absolutely. Everyone wants to be their own boss at some point in their life. I'm not really prepared for the stress of it, but I know if I work hard enough, it would work.
So you have anything else, or you really just want to open your own salon? Like, that's your main goal?
I definitely want to open my own salon and stay behind the chair. I do like educating people, especially when it comes to makeup. I've always thought about doing like YouTube, but the hours behind that and with me being behind the chair, it doesn't really work out. But I would love to maybe one day teach classes, or I really do love one-on-ones with people for makeup, and that way they can kind of, I could teach them what works for them so they can recreate it at home.
That'd be a good idea. I feel like a lot of people have questions, but YouTube really is a lot of work. Do you have any advice for people looking into cosmetology, whether they're in high school, they want to do Votech, or they're like, 30 years and older and they just decide that they want to try and do hair?
My biggest advice to people, if they are younger, to definitely try and get into a Votech. I know they're not common in a lot of states, but it does save you so much money in the long run, and you get more experience because you're getting 4 years of it rather than rushing it all in like a 1 or 2 year program at a cosmetology school. As far as people that are older or post high school, apprenticing is a thing that not a lot of people know about. It's basically, some salons offer it. You work with a stylist one-on-one for some time. They teach you everything. You get hands-on experience very quickly, and then you can get licensed through them. Not to bash cosmetology schools, but sometimes it's just a little bit easier to kind of work with someone one-on-one. And then also a lot of people think that they want to do makeup, so they go to cosmetology school, pay all of this money just to be licensed in some sort of way, but there are also a lot of makeup programs that makeup companies offer. I know for Delaware, you don't have to be licensed anything to do makeup, which I don't necessarily agree with, but a lot of people ask me, how can I get into makeup? I love doing makeup for brides. What can I do? And I say, look into like aesthetic programs, something a little bit smaller, more close-knit with what you want to do, rather than going through this entire course of learning to cut and color hair when you have no desire to do any of that.
So you don't want people to waste their time?
Absolutely. Jump right into it.
So you do hair and makeup for weddings, and you've also done that for some photo shoots. Can you tell me a bit about those?
Yeah, so I do freelance hair and makeup for weddings. It's typically more so towards the end of the year, like fall season, usually on Saturdays and some Fridays. I work with one of my old managers from when I used to work at MAC. His name's Russell. He's great. He coordinates all of these weddings. He has a huge wedding empire that I'm so grateful for. And yeah, we basically go out to people, take care of them in the morning for the wedding, hair, makeup, make sure they feel good and they're taken care of the day of the wedding. As far as photo shoots, I do work for a few different photographers, mainly a boudoir photographer, which is, for the people that don't know, when girls do almost like lingerie pictures, not super scandalous or anything, it's just to kind of build confidence, and I do hair and makeup for that.
And what's that like? Because it's a boudoir photo shoot, and a lot of people can get very nervous about stuff like that. So do you ever feel that comes to you from them?
I do. I always sense it with people. No one ever goes into a half-naked photo shoot feeling super confident, and I love that I can kind of talk with them, just make them feel comfortable, and make them feel beautiful and confident before they go into doing something they have no clue what's going to happen. So, and I've been a model for this photographer before, so it helps that I can kind of tell them, like, listen, I've done it. It's so much fun. Like, you're going to feel so great once you get these pictures back. And then when people do get the pictures back and they text me or they DM me and they're like, oh my God, I look so good. Like, thank you so much. Like, that makes me feel so good. At the end of the day, like, I could have had the worst clients at the salon, but at the end of the day, I know I did something right and I made someone feel good.
Yeah, you boost confidence a lot doing stuff like that.
I try my best.
So you've done a Disney wedding. Have you done other destination weddings too?
I have not. That was my first one. I do have one booked next year in Mexico, which I'm very excited for.
That is exciting. But tell me about this Disney wedding, because I love Disney.
It was not what I expected at all. It's not like the typical wedding where I show up at 7 a.m., I'm done by 12, I can go home, I can take a nap. It was this bride who was a photographer me and my old manager Russell from MAC have worked with before, and she was renewing her vows in Disney with her husband. It was 10 years. And they basically paid for me and him to fly down to Florida, She paid for our stay. She paid for our food. She was very, very accommodating. But there's always a flip side. We had to get her ready every single morning that we were there, which was 5 days, at 3 a.m. so she could be done by around 4:30 to do different photo shoots in all the different Disney parks, which at the time was super tiring, but so grateful that I had that opportunity because I got to go to Disney. I got to walk around Florida while it's winter in Delaware. It was so much fun, and the pictures that we had gotten back were beautiful. Thankfully, she's a photographer, so she knew what she was doing, and it was just an awesome experience.
So, if you're getting her ready at 3 a.m., is that so that she can be done before parks open and everything? So
yes.
Did you go with them during shoots like that, or did you just hang back in the hotel room after?
We hung back at the hotel. She went and did her own thing, and then after those photo shoots in the morning, we had the entire day to do whatever we wanted.
Did she just pay for you to get into Disney?
She did pay for our ticket to Epcot.
So you got a whole free trip to Disney.
I did.
That's
I really
awesome. All right. Well, if you need an assistant, I will carry your stuff.
I will gladly take you with me anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just carry things. Don't trust me to do stuff. You do TikToks a lot. If anybody doesn't know, we work together in the salon. That's why I know all of the questions to ask you. But you always do TikToks in the break room and stuff, and it's funny, and you do them everywhere else. What's your favorite part about doing stuff like that?
I love TikTok. I know I'm too old for the app, but
You're not.
It's just so much fun. I've definitely thought about doing like hair and makeup TikToks, but that's not really what people go on TikTok for.
Right.
It's just more so making stupid little videos that take no time, and for some reason I keep getting views. I don't understand. I keep getting likes. Like, I think I'm meant to be TikTok famous.
Okay. Well, put me in one of your videos.
Alicia, please, we will be TikTok famous together.
I'll help you with your hair and makeup, because if people can get famous off of opening children's toys meant for 4-year-olds, I'm sorry, but I think you can get famous for real content.
I sure as hell hope so, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you're not opening squishy toys, so like, you deserve that.
Or slime.
I didn't even know there was a slime account.
Have you not seen the monkey that gets excited to open slime?
Oh wait, no, I did see that one. That was adorable. But that's a monkey. That's different. It's not like a 30-year-old dude opening slime. So, it's a little more interesting.
Right.
Besides TikTok, so what else do you do when you're not at work or in Disney World?
Coming into this industry, I jumped right into my career, so I focused on working. I worked a lot of hours. I worked 2 jobs at one point. But more so recently, I've kind of learned to focus more so on myself and hanging out with friends. Definitely have to prioritize yourself and your positive mental health. So lately, I've just been, every weekend, I kind of put aside work. I forget about it for like 1 or 2 days, and I hang out with my friends. I try to go out to dinner at least once a week with them. I have 3 younger siblings. I try to always make at least one bite with them to hang out, watch movies. I'm really big into going to the movies. I spend a lot of money there. So we're at the movies usually at least once a week, and just hanging with friends, going out. Be going out to the bar soon. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, you turned 21 how soon?
It's like 20-something days, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was a lot faster than I thought.
Crazy, right?
Maybe I don't know your birthday.
April 1st.
Oh, right, I knew that.
I knew that.
I knew that. No, it's fine. Coming into the salon, luckily we have the freedom to wear what we want and express our creativity that way. So how would you describe your style?
My style is kind of all over the place. Currently I have on a very flowy floral dress.
Yeah.
But sometimes at the salon, a lot of my clients are younger, into more of that like grunge, like e-boy TikTok style. So sometimes I kind of incorporate that a little bit just to be a little relatable, have something to talk about. So I'll wear oversized panties and my filas and like a beanie. But then other times when I know I have more mature clients, I try to dress a little bit nicer, more like business casual. So it really depends on the day, depends on the clients, what I do wear.
Okay. Now, when you're not at work, are you still all over the place?
I'm definitely still all over the place. Usually it's sweatpants and a crop top with feelers. I always have the feelers on. I can't even lie about that.
You love your feelers.
I do. They give me great back support.
Do they really?
They do. They don't hurt my back. They're the only shoes that don't.
I never thought that was a thing for Filas.
They're big, clunky shoes with a lot of cushion. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you have a point. You do have a point.
They're kind of ugly, but they get the job done.
Is that why you bought them, or is it just because they're
I definitely
in
bought
style?
them for the style, but I started wearing them all the time, and then people kept telling me they were ugly, so I kept wearing them. Obviously. And they're fantastic. This is my second pair, and I'm about to buy a third.
Are they all the same, or you get different ones?
Oh, no, they're all the same. I just stain them at work all the time with color, so I have to keep buying new ones.
Some bags on your feet.
I really should, honestly, just to cover up how ugly they are.
I mean, paint them black or something. You could do that. You can paint them black and put glitter on it. Black glitter. There you go.
Will you do it for me? I'll commission you.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So it's March. Firefly's coming up. For the people who are not familiar with Firefly in Delaware, it is our very big music festival. We have once a year. And I've camped with you before, and you were basically the campsite stylist. You did everybody's hair. How do you like it?
I love it for the pictures, and I love it because I know my friends look good.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's 8 o'clock in the morning and it's 90 degrees outside and I'm sweating and I don't even feel like getting myself ready and I have 4 people lined up and then someone from a campsite next to us is like, hey, can you braid our hair really quickly? It's hard for me to say no, which I never do. I just end up doing it. And it's tough, but I make it work. I love doing like creative hairstyles like that, especially the fun little like space buns with some glitter in it. So I usually end up doing everyone's hair. I should start charging.
Probably. You really should.
But it's fun. It's a good way to put myself out there because everyone's posting pictures with their fun, fresh outfits.
Right.
And then I always tell people to tag me on their hair.
Do they?
Some people do, yeah.
You know what? You should get some stickers.
I really should.
Get your sticker of your Instagram. Just slap it on them. Be like, here. I did your hair. You can wear that.
Yep.
There you go. I mean, you could charge. You could be like, hey, you know, like, if you give me a bottle of water and like some ice to dunk myself in, I'll do your hair.
I've thought about setting up a booth at Firefly. I really don't know the logistics and how much it costs, and I really don't want to work at Firefly, but it's such a great like branding opportunity because there's so many different types of people there and a lot of local Delaware people. But yeah, I've thought about it. Maybe one day.
Have you looked into it at all?
I actually did try emailing them last year for a salon booth, and they never got back to me.
Oh. Well, that's the kind of thing you got to email them a lot of times because you could probably just get lost in like the pool of people.
I figured.
Probably. But I have faith in you. I'm coming to get my hair done.
Yes. Support the booth.
I'll be your model.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'll just hang out all day.
Yeah.
All right. So let's kind of revisit misconceptions and just not full understanding of hair. Like you said, jet black hair and they want to go blonde. But also people have all of their home remedies and I do this and I do that. What are some things you've heard?
I think the craziest thing I've heard, which was actually very recent, a woman told me that she makes her hair grow faster by washing it every day because her scalp is like a plant and the more you water it, the faster it's going to grow. And let me just clear it up for the people that want to believe that your hair is not a plant. It is a bulb beneath your scalp that is replenished by the blood flow. So washing your hair can help by stimulating the scalp. Give yourself a good scrub. Make sure you get all the grime out of there. That is the main thing. Taking vitamins and stuff does help to an extent, but typically any kind of putting oil on your scalp, there's some pyramid scheme things out there that claim to make your hair grow longer by putting like oil on your ends. Your hair grows out of your scalp, not on your ends. It is not going to get thicker if you rub some oil on your ends. I'm so sorry to break it to you. That's not how it works. Your hair gets thicker by getting haircuts, regular haircuts, not just a little snip. You have to get those dead ends off there, else they're just going to keep splitting.
So with the haircuts, you have to keep getting haircuts. And I hear that all the time. People are like, I don't want to get my hair cut. My hair is my life. If I have to lose half an inch, I'm going to bawl my eyes out. And I mean, I've seen it. I've seen plenty of girls get upset and they go to social media like, look what happened to my hair. I cut an inch off and they freak out. But explain exactly why you have to get a haircut because I don't feel like a lot of people understand that.
Yeah, regular haircuts are a necessity if you want your hair to ever grow.
Mm-hmm.
If you can imagine, you start to get split ends over time. That's just your hair breaking from brushing, overwashing. If you can imagine, that split starts to split further up the hair, and the longer you go without a haircut and cutting those split ends off, the more fragile and damaged your ends are going to become, and then that's when you have to get the big chop. So typically I say 4 to 6 weeks. I know even I stretch it. I try to say at least once every 2 to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting a lot of color in your hair, if you're flat ironing it a lot, definitely probably a little bit sooner, but a haircut needs to happen if you ever want your hair to be long and thick and luscious.
Yeah, so you can either get an inch off every month or so, or you can get 6 inches off, and then you're not going to be happy about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some people might need to hear that. Now, what about, my favorite is box dye. Talk about
Oh boy.
box dye.
Fun topic. Box dye is very convenient, and that's where it gets people in trouble, especially a lot of the young college girls that I see that are blonde, and then like, I just want to go dark for a little bit, so I buy this semi-permanent chocolate brown that only lasts 12 washes. No, honey, I'm so sorry. That box dye is full of minerals that are going to cling to your hair, and when you want to be blonde again, it's probably not going to happen, but I have the patience for it, and I'm willing to work with you.
Yeah.
If you're willing to work with me, and it becomes a process. Now you're starting from ground level. We got to break through all of that. It's probably going to be that funky orange color for a little bit. I'll make it look good, don't worry, but box dye is a big no-no for me. If you are a middle-aged woman that is on a tight budget and you need to touch up them roots, go ahead, do the damn thing. But if you want to do a full head of dark color with plans of being blonde again in the future, I'm gonna smack you. Don't do it. Please don't.
Would you suggest that they at least come in to a salon for a consultation and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and you can give them some type of method or plan?
Oh my god, absolutely. And that's why I'm glad Sally Beauty is a thing, so people can go in and actually get sort of salon grade color without going to the grocery store. And I'm always willing to make sure people are okay. I'm just such a people pleaser, so if someone were to come in and say, look, I just really want to tone down my blonde, I don't have the money for it, I'm going to tell you to go to Sally's. I'm going to tell you exactly what to buy, how to do it, because most likely they're going to end up coming back to me to get it fixed anyway.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works. But there's been girls that I've had to direct and tell them what to do because I understand college budget. We're all on a budget, and I want to make sure everyone looks and feels good. And if that's me going out of my way to make sure someone spends $10 at Sally's to get some decent color, then I'm going to make sure they're going to do that rather than going to the grocery store and just hoping for the best.
A lot of times, people come into the salon and like they have a lot of hair, they have this or that going on, and they expect to get whatever result they saw on YouTube or Instagram immediately. And sometimes they seem to take the whole salon process for granted just because they saw it on the internet, and so therefore it must be possible, but they don't want to pay for it. And I've heard you and other stylists say before, like, getting your hair done is a privilege, which it really is. It's not a right. You don't get to come in and say, here's $50, do whatever I want. What would you like to say about, like, you have to pay for what you get?
Right, and I try to keep into account that not everyone is loaded. So when someone does come into me with a tricky situation, or what we usually call a color correction, which is a long, lengthy process, which is going to require a lot of product, which costs money, a lot of my time, which costs money, and I just want people to understand that I pay for a lot of my education out of pocket. I constantly am educating myself on what's up to date, different techniques. It's not free, and all of my supplies and color isn't free either. So when people come in with these tricky situations, I, for one, want them to know that it's not going to happen immediately most of the time. I want them to also understand that I'm trying to make sure your hair is in the best condition possible. I'm not going to throw on some bleach and tell you to leave so you can save a penny. Like, I want to make sure that your hair is taken care of, it's healthy, because you're my walking advertisement. I want to make sure that you're looking good. So if that's going to be a, however much money process, I break it down to them. I tell them this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, this is the price. And then sometimes people don't necessarily want to pay that, and I tell them, like, okay, well, at least you know what has to happen. You are more than welcome to go somewhere else. My clients pay for me and my time because they trust me, and I do appreciate those people that are willing to pay for my time. And it's a lot that goes into it. I didn't just go to school for free and now I'm here to make $5 haircuts like some salons. I am skilled at what I do. Balayages are the big thing right now, the blondes, and I put a lot of my time and effort and money into that, and I've not necessarily have mastered it. No one's ever mastered anything, but I am pretty damn good at what I do, and I just want people to make sure that they know that they are paying for what they get, and I do great shit, so you're paying to get good hair.
You do a really good job. I haven't had the pleasure of getting a balayage from you, but that's because my hair is black. But they all look good.
People. Yes, it is possible to be blonde with black hair. It's just not going to happen in an hour.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't get that. Everybody's hair is different. So, like, when you come in with black hair, like, how does that operate? Because I know that some people don't understand the process of going from black to blonde and what is in your hair that prevents it from being so quick. What is that?
So, if you could imagine, there's a color scale. It's from 1 to 10. 1 is your darkest black, and then a 10 is the platinum blonde, and underneath of your hair is pigment, that's where that brassiness comes from when you lift, because that brassiness lays right in the middle, probably like a 5. So if you can imagine, you're working your way from a 1 to a 10, you have to pass through that orange brassy phase to get to that yellow, and people don't understand that sometimes if you have the box color, you can kind of get stuck in that brassy phase because your hair is just resistant at that point. It's not gonna budge. But with the virgin black hair or dark hair, you have to still work your way up without breaking the hair off. So it can be a process because sometimes you have to kind of lay in that brassiness it's basically a caramel. And you have to kind of stay there for a little bit, let your hair regroup, take some time, let it naturally lighten up, whether it's in the sun, a lot of people go tanning, and then come back, and then we can work your way up to that platinum, as opposed to just throwing it on and hoping for the best.
And that's to prevent all their hair from falling out, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to do that. Now, do you have tips for people that do like to get hair colored a lot, or they like to straighten it and curl it every day? That's going to cause damage. So what would you recommend for that?
I recommend definitely taking your stylist's word for salon quality shampoo and conditioner. That really is a big make it or break it, because you're putting pure shampoo and conditioner on your hair as opposed to a lot of the stuff at the drugstore, like Pantene. I really don't recommend any drugstore shampoo ever, whether it's color treated or not, because it's filled, most of it's water. You look at the ingredients, the first ingredient's probably water. And it's a bunch of sulfates and bad stuff that's going to cling onto your hair. So when you do get it colored, I've had people's hair smoke before because they use these things that are full of just junk, and it basically just burns off. So salon quality shampoo is definitely a big thing. Hairspray, dry shampoo, I'm not gonna lie, I use Batiste because I go through it so quickly. It's cheap. But shampoo, big thing, especially purple shampoo for blondes. A lot of people don't know that. Purple shampoo is a toning shampoo that's gonna help get rid of brassiness outside of the salon, so you don't have to come in all the time for a toner. And then for the people that do straighten and curl their hair a lot, ladies, temperature is temperature. You cook your chicken nuggets at 450 degrees. You do not need to cook your hair at 450 degrees. Definitely recommend turning it down a notch. I usually tell people around 380. That way you can pass it through the hair a few times. I'm going to be honest, I don't really use heat protectant because I am cautious of how often I'm curling my hair. It's usually like once a week. And just don't cook your hair. Use decent irons that you can see the temperature on. I tell people to go to TJ Maxx. They have cheat irons. We're all on a budget. They work just fine, but definitely something with the temperature so you can see it.
Right. Now, when you say don't use Pantene, don't use drugstore products, and water, and you say they're color treated, I've noticed a lot of ingredients that you're not supposed to have in your shampoo are in color treated as so-called shampoo. What are those ingredients? What do they do to your hair?
It's the sulfates, the parabens. Sulfate is basically a salt and salt is going to remove any kind of moisture from your hair. It's going to remove color. That's just the bond that it is. That's why a lot of salon quality shampoos are a little bit pricier, because they don't use these cheap ingredients and they're more concentrated. So all of those funky junk in the drugstore shampoos, they can claim whatever they want. They can claim that it's going to make your hair grow 10 times faster. They can claim that it's color treated because they're allowed to. They can claim whatever they want. It's just, you have to know, and not everything's always listed, but there's always stuff in there. A lot of them do test on animals. It's a lot of stuff that people don't know about. It's just because of the convenience, they just buy it. But I definitely don't recommend it.
Would you recommend people, because not everybody likes to get their hair done, sometimes they're just okay with the haircut once a year, but would you recommend they come in just to talk product to people? Because I feel like some people don't know they can do that.
Absolutely, and I've had some people come into the salon just to buy shampoo, and like I said, I'm always willing to help somebody. It's me taking 5 minutes out of my day to tell you what curl cream to buy isn't going to affect me, and it could possibly be a potential client in the future. So I'm always willing to educate people, as long as they accept what I'm saying and not just blow it off, be like, oh, I know I can buy this at the drugstore.
Yeah.
Or Amazon. Don't trust Amazon, people. Amazon is not real. You might get some of your stuff on there. I have personally bought a purple shampoo that I use at the salon just to see, and I should have made a video of it. It was not even the same consistency. I had the exact bottle at my house. I had 2 of them. The one from Amazon was not the same consistency, not even the same color, not even the same smell. Amazon, I don't know what you're putting in these things. Don't trust it. I would rather people buy stuff from me at the salon, just because I know we get it directly from the dealer. The hair dealer. But if you have to, I know Ulta's great. They always have everything. You can even use coupons. But yes, Amazon, even if you want to buy your Redken or your Pureology at the drugstore, it's not always guaranteed to be the same. It could be old, expired.
That is true. That is true. And you said Sally. Not everybody knows what Sally is. Can you tell them about Sally?
Yeah, Sally Beauty is basically a hair supply store for the public. You don't have to be licensed to go in there. They sell everything from, for some reason they sell perms there, but you can buy a perm, you can buy hair lightener, you can buy color, you can buy makeup. And they even have shampoo and conditioner that are salon quality, relatively good price, but it's somewhere that you can trust, and they have licensed professionals working that you can kind of talk to, see what their opinion is.
Being in the salon all day, every day, you're always talking to people, and I'm sure they all have questions about what to do with their hair for this and that. What are some common questions that you always get?
Some common questions are, usually it's, how often am I going to have to get this touched up when it's color-wise? Or how often should I get a haircut? And I always tell people, you're your own individual person. Not everyone's hair grows the same. So I tell them, basically, whenever you feel like you're ready. Haircuts are a little bit different because that will actually affect your hair. But if it's somebody that doesn't do their hair, they wash it twice a week, it's kind of like whenever you feel like you're ready. But for haircuts, usually, like I said, like once at least every 2 to 3 months. But for color, for people that, typically a lot of the things I do are low maintenance colors. So that means that they can kind of let it grow out for a long period of time and have it still look good. So there's really no time period on that, and I just tell them that, like, I'm going to do your color, you're getting what you pay for, and then you go live your best life. And then whenever you feel like you're ready, typically it's like, I see some of my clients once or twice a year, which sucks because I love talking to them, but I know that I'm doing their hair, they pay it, and then they're good for a long time, and they don't have to come in once a month to get something touched up because I did a crappy job.
What about hair fall out and what about shedding, like hair shedding and ponytails? I have heard a lot of people say, oh, well, I got in the shower and I feel like I'm going bald. I lost all my hair.
Right. That's a big thing a lot of people don't really think about, especially when they use shampoos that are sulfate free so they don't suds, which basically means you're not getting as clean of a wash. But if you can imagine, for someone that washes their hair once a week and then doesn't really brush it, all of those hairs, you're typically going to lose about 100 strands of hair a day. You're not losing those 100 strands, so when you finally do brush your hair, or you finally do wash it, all of it's going to come out at once. And I only tell people to worry if it's clumps of hair.
Yeah.
Then there's something going on. You might want to see somebody. But it's typically just varies person by person. If you're washing your hair every single day, you're getting all that shedding out. And even with like change of season, you shed. You're like an animal. So if you're shedding a little bit more than usual, as long as it's not clumps, don't worry. You're okay. You're not going bald. I hear that all the time. I promise you're not going bald.
Now, what are some pet peeves when people come in to the salon?
Oh, this is a fun one. Okay. I really do love when young girls come in and they like to take Snapchats or TikToks of me while I'm doing their hair. I love that. I really don't love that, actually. I'm all about being on social media and stuff. As long as you tell me what you're doing, I'm so down for it. I usually look okay. But I can see people taking Snapchats and sending it to their friends, or I can see when someone, not necessarily talking about me, but I can see them turn their brightness down and start texting. I see those things. I'm not blind. I'd rather you not. Say whatever you want. I really don't care, but I'm standing right here. I can see you doing it. And yeah, just the kind of invasion of privacy when people are recording me while I'm doing my work and not really thinking that I'm killing my back right now trying to lean over you because you have your head down in your phone. And I can only tell someone so many times, head up please, because I'm not going to tell you to get off your phone. I really don't care, but it does take its toll on me. And another thing is when it's really not that deep. I don't care that people do this, but every 5 seconds when someone asks, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I try my best in our initial consultation to educate you on everything, and throughout the process I kind of reassure people like, okay, this is what I'm about to do, so don't be worried. I will tell you what I'm doing. Please stop asking because you're just wasting time. We're wasting precious time. Just trust me. I am usually pretty thorough about everything, so don't feel the need to question your hairdresser every 5 seconds on what they're doing.
Besides your salon life, everybody has pet peeve at work. What else do you hate in real life?
Real life? I'm usually a pretty easygoing person, but this is so random, but when people walk without picking up their feet, especially in the summertime when they have sandals on, and it's just like, please, just pick up your foot. You're already halfway there. Just keep going.
You're halfway there.
Pick it up. Heelys are actually coming back. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
That's fine. But at least you can skate along.
You gotta get some Heelys.
Absolutely.
Wear them to the salon.
I will, because then I'm not making any sound when I shuffle my feet down the hallway.
Your Heelys and your Fila. You're just gonna start a whole collection.
I am.
There's a lot of hair fails out there, and I tried to do this by myself. My hair fell out. What do you have to say about stuff like that?
Typically, when I do see those TikToks, which are absolutely hysterical, Brad Mondo, if anybody knows who he is, he makes YouTube videos, and he definitely makes parodies of people like him watching them do hair fails, and he explains why it went wrong. But basically, a lot of girls, the new trend right now is bleaching like your bang area. It's like that e-girl style. Do what you want. But your hair is literally falling out because people put the bleach on and they don't know exactly what the bleach is doing, and they leave it on for like 2 hours. Have you seen those? The one girl literally said 4 hours, and I was like, maybe like 20 minutes. That's a long time. And people's hair will fall out. So if you're going to do that, at least watch like a decent YouTube video on how to bleach your bangs rather than just going for it.
Yeah, a decent one, like somebody who actually does
Watch
hair.
Brad Mondo.
We're gonna boost Brad Mondo. Just trust him.
Yes.
You should do videos on that then. If you want to do your YouTube career, do that.
I've thought about it, even on TikTok, just like explaining like what went wrong. Like I just love educating people, but at the same time being like, why would you do that?
Like that shit we don't do that shit.
We don't do that shit here. Please stop.
Oh my god. I'm gonna watch when we first person.
Yes.
Alright, so that's all the questions that we have for you today. If anyone is interested in checking out Madison and her work, she's on Instagram, as we said. She is Colored by Madison. That's going to be included on her webpage as well. She's going to get one of those on her pictures. So if you have any questions, just check that out. Thank you for being here today, Madison.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun.
You're welcome. And we will see you guys next time for our next episode.